Alright guys, what is going on? The Aerie Lord is here for another Walking Dead prediction. This one is for episode 15 of season 9 entitled Calm Before. The Calm Before. This is the big episode. Usually it's the finale. Usually we don't get to this point where 15 is the episode where all hell is going to break loose. But given the new showrunner and the plot intensiveness that we seem to be getting from this next episode, a lot's going to happen. And from multiple angles, this feels like to me what I was waiting for 3 years ago when there was all of this buildup to Negan. And I feel like that this is similar to that, where differently, we've already met our villains. We've already met Alpha and Beta, but it's what they do. Now, when we met Negan for the first time, he committed his act the first moment that, like, the same episode we met him, he committed his horrific act. We didn't get to see all of it because of the way they filmed the season 6 finale, but that whole sequence, his first introduction, came with those major deaths. Not the case with Alpha and Beta. They've been building this up. The survivors have slowly but surely pissed them off, from Daryl's one-on-one fight with Beta to Henry repeatedly stealing Lydia away, to the numerous whisperers that the community that they've killed. And Alpha she wants vengeance. And I'm just going to go right into the previews that we have for this. It's the most logical way, the way I've been doing the previous predictions, to go through the content before we get into anything else that comes with predictions from this footage. So, starting with the trailer, starting with the bonus, like the preview footage when episode 14 ended, this is what we're seeing here, okay? So, the very first image we get is we get Michonne. We get a lot of people in this. We get Michonne, we get Carol, we get Ezekiel, we get Henry, we get Lydia, we get Judith. So they're sitting in the front row of the Kingdom's auditorium, and Ezekiel is presenting the charter to Michonne. This is the charter that he's very proud about, where all of the communities sign this legislation, which gives the rights, the laws, the acts, basically, like, it's almost like the Constitution of the United Communities, I guess, if you want to call them that. They don't have an official name, but this is reunification. Now that we've kind of come full circle, we understand Michonne's isolationist perspective, the conversation she had with Judith, it seems like they're ready. Obviously, they went to the fair, so it seems like they're ready to turn over a new leaf and embrace other people and let go of the horrific things that happened. So this is cool because Lydia's getting a front row seat from, she's seen Hilltop, Alexandria, and the Kingdom. She's seen all, I guess Oceanside's the only one she hasn't seen, but again, we haven't even seen Oceanside. We haven't seen Oceanside since the time jump, since Rick Grimes took off in that helicopter. The last time we saw Oceanside, they were stabbing those saviors like a rot and the other saviors in the back of the head because of what they did to them with Simon. So, I don't know if we're going to see, they do have a banner for the Oceanside, so that's a different discussion. If we even see them, will we see Sydney? That's your guess is as good as mine. I don't know what the hell's going on. Oceanside, even in season 7 and 8, they were always like the community. It was just, they were left out. For whatever reason, they were just not involved with shit. Don't know why, but they just weren't. So, I don't know. Maybe that was Scott Gimple. Maybe they just didn't think they were worth it. I don't know. I never had too much. We never spent time with them, so how was I supposed to ever care for them? So okay, so we have this. We have the legislation. Ezekiel presents it. Ezekiel is signing his signature, which is cool because, depending what happens to him, if he survives the rest of the season, it'll be nice that he actually put his legislation down on this document. So it was signed by him, which is pretty cool. Then Ezekiel hands over the pen. We have 2 episodes left. There's a sweeping shot of the fair. Everyone is in full swing in celebration mode. And then we get this really, really cool, Ezekiel never addressed the people like this. And there was a speech I was kind of waiting for. He had a version of it in the beginning of season 8 when he was rallying the kingdom to fight the saviors, right before it transitioned to all of them mowed down by that machine gun. But I would have liked to have had Ezekiel on the pulpit giving this big speech with the actual Shiva alongside him. And we never really got that. We just had him surrounded by all of his people. Like, remember the We Are One, that thing that he did? But he never, because the kingdom never knew about the presence of the saviors, and then the events of All Out War made them privy to their presence. So, like, for me, I would have liked to have seen Ezekiel give some big speech where he reveals the presence of the saviors, what he's been doing with Gavin for all these years. But now his speech comes in the form of reunification. In this sense, we're getting a reunification speech. He's really the one pioneering this fair. It is at his community. I love how they have this Shiva that's right here. Like they have like the plastic Shiva to embody. I wonder if Lydia's gonna ask, like, why is there a like replica of a tiger next to him? I mean, I don't even think she would believe Henry. If Henry's like, oh, back in the day, Ezekiel used to have a pet tiger. It's like, yeah, who would believe that? So, and then we have this cool shot of a lot of people. This is pretty much everybody, I'd say. I mean, you got Sadiq, you got Rosita, you got Gabriel. I like how the two people that want to bang Rosita they're on both sides of her, like freaking tug of war. You got Diana, the archer from the kingdom. You got Cal, the one that always used to get into arguments with Gregory. I'm looking. I can't really recognize anyone else in this shot. You got some hilltop teenagers in the back. And that's about it for that shot. And then we transition to Carol and Ezekiel having a kiss. A farewell kiss, perhaps? Question mark. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know. And then we have this, and I don't know how these events come to fruition. We have Daryl and a group riding outside the kingdom. So everyone makes it to kingdom. The Judith and Michonne picked them up in that horse buggy. Now they're going back out. So what drives them back out is the question. Like, they're at the fair, so what prompts them to leave the fair? In our next shot, we have King Ezekiel and Henry standing next to each other. Henry's got that freaking compass t-shirt. Some people said that it's foreshadowing to a head pike because of the way the north and south compass is kind of like a pike. I don't know. I think that's clever. I mean, depending what happens to him, maybe that foreshadowing will be clever. Depending what happens to him, I'm going to keep saying depending what happens to him. I'm just going to say it here, guys. And again, I'm going to do a predictions video, and I'm going to say this at the end of the vlog. I'm going to say it now. I'm going to reiterate it at the end of the vlog. I'm going to do a separate vlog that's going to be uploaded on Friday about who I think is going to be piked, okay? These are events from the comic book where multiple characters are murdered in a certain manner and their heads are put on giant pieces of wood and they're just like they're piked. Their heads are cut off and wedged on slabs of wood. This is a very tragic event that turns a chapter in The Walking Dead, especially in the comics. The comics. I am not going to say who dies in the comics. I mean, anyone who reads the comics, or you could just do a Google search as to who dies in the comics from this incident. I'm just going to say right now, one of these two is going to die. Either it's going to be Ezekiel or it's going to be Henry. I don't know who, but it's not going to be both. It's going to be one of them. I don't know who it is. I don't. You could say that it would make more sense to kill off an adult that we've seen as a prominent role in the show since season 7 than killing off a kid that we just had cast this season who hasn't had that much. I mean, he's had consistent screen time with Lydia, but they haven't had a chance to build him up too much. It's really just been his desire to protect this girl at all costs. So I'll go more into my feelings on that, but this is a very ominous photo right here. Ezekiel and Henry waving to Michonne. and then there's a shot of them from behind. Then we get the transition to where they're going. So it looks like Carol might be with Daryl and a few others. The Highwayman leader is here, so maybe they're doing their job and they figure out something. Then we cut to nighttime, and we have a much larger group here. We have Carol, Michonne, and Daryl are the prominent ones, and we got walkers, we got whisperers, we got a whole bunch of people, and they're all surrounding them. And then one of them pulls out a gun, and shit gets real, and they got their backs to each other, and there's a whole bunch of corpses. I don't know if these corpses are walkers or they're whisperers. I would assume that they would be walkers. Like, all of the walkers came towards the group that doesn't have the skins, because the whisperers have the camouflage, so the walkers would walk straight through them. That's a really cool shot. Like, imagine this shot. The walkers are hidden amongst them, and then they come through, like diagonally, like seep through the cracks and like go towards our group. They're slashing and cutting and killing the zombies, and then all that's left are the whisperers who have them trapped in a circle. And this is going to spell absolute doom, because guess what? Beta's back, and Beta is in this episode. He makes himself known to Daryl, and Daryl's probably like, what the shit? You should be dead. I kind of regret not dumping a walker on you. So that's what happens, you know? So, and then we have this next shot where Daryl is looking into the eyes of Alpha, and there's going to be conversations that are going to be had, because I want you guys to see something right here, and this is another kind of like something that comic book readers would know. So you see in this shot right here, Alpha has her shotgun. She's pointing it at Daryl, and Daryl kind of like lowers his head and starts walking. So Alpha is commanding Daryl to do something, and she's making sure he does it because she has her double-barrel shotgun pointed at him. And Daryl even gives a nod to Carol, like, look, I have to do this. Like, we don't have a choice. I need to go along and do what she says. Now, I'm not going to spoil it, but there's if they keep it the same as the comics, there's a very specific thing that Alpha, in the comics, it's Rick. It's not Daryl. It's Rick Grimes that she does this with. It's just them. It's just Alpha and Rick, and she brings Rick to a certain location to do something. Okay, she doesn't kill him, but there's something that she has to explain and show to Rick / Daryl. Okay, and seeing this preview proves to me that that's what it is. Okay. So, just a few tidbits, because this episode is going to adapt a lot from the comic books, and I just want you guys to be prepared for that. Just like Negan bashing in Glenn and Abraham's skull with the baseball bat was a major prominent comic moment where there were deaths, and it was a turning point. It was a turning point from the show. After those two characters were beaten to death, nothing was the same. Rick and his group are subjugated by Negan, and that set the course of the whole show, and all the craziness and the events that happened with Carl getting bit and everything after that set it into motion. The same thing can be said of what's about to happen with the Whisperers. This is another huge prominent moment in the show, and we're building up to it. And it's cool because this episode really could be episode 16, but it's actually episode 15. So there's going to be a chance for us to deal with the aftermath of this, but not like next year. It's not like, oh, wait till October for season 10. No, we only have to wait a week for episode 16, which is pretty cool. So that way, maybe we get some closure. Maybe there's like a rallying war cry. Maybe we have some optimism going into the fall, okay? And that's kind of what I'm hoping for from this episode and episode 16. I mean, I'll give my episode 16 predictions based on what happens this Sunday, obviously. That's going to be a separate blog. But I just wanted to note that. The next preview clip, it's not as long. It shows like the Highwaymen. Like there seems to be a scuffle. Something happened in the woods. There was a robbery of some type. I don't really know what's going on here, but apparently they find some sort of something of theirs was robbed and somebody was killed. And the Highwaymen and Michonne, like the group, they discover this, and so they're kind of like informing the Highwaymen of what happened, and trying to discover the source of exactly what happened. These goods were robbed, and they're trying to get to the bottom of just what happened. And so there's a pretty sizable group. Like, this is a majority of the forces, okay? And then the final preview is just, it's a scene from the preview that we saw in the very first, like, mashup preview, where the Whispers start coming out of the woods. I really like the fear in this sequence, and I'll probably talk about this when I review the episode. I love how Carol, Michonne, and Daryl and Yumiko, they're all like they're all knocking into each other, like they're all trying to move backwards, and they're just like pinned against each other, realizing that they're trapped, that they've fallen into this trap by the Whisperers, and it's absolutely terrifying. And this is a really badass preview. The Whisperer raises his gun. Beta comes out and reveals that he's alive, and we actually see a little bit of Daryl's reaction where he's like, what the hell, you should be dead. And obviously he's not dead. So there is that. And I guess some of the last things I want to get to, just some promo photos that came out today, and then we'll end the vlog and we'll give some deeper predictions. So I like how they have this as a promo picture. Like, they've been showing us Lydia and Henry, like, kissing and building up their romance and their feelings for each other. But this is a promo photo. This is their relationship, I guess, complete, I would say. Like, I guess they're boyfriend and girlfriend at this point. I would assume. I mean, she's wearing that freaking Hilltop token that Henry gave her. And they seem happy together. She's been flirting with this kid hardcore for the past 2 episodes. In episode 14, where she was like rubbing his scars and saying that, oh, you know, I'll always remember it because you did it for me. Like, they're battle scars that he picked up from trying to help her. And then in episode 13, where she was kissing him. She kissed him twice. It was like, oh, why'd you come for me? And she was, really falling for him. And so this is kind of the completion of their romantic arc. And I don't want to say it like that. I mean, just in terms of them coming together. Like, they're no longer estranged, kind of circling around each other. Like, they've fully fallen in love. And I think they would, I don't know is Henry going to introduce Lydia as, like, his girlfriend? I mean, it's entirely possible. I think it's entirely possible that he does that. I think there's a good chance. We see this photo of Henry coming out of the horse buggy for the first time. Judith and Lydia are looking at each other like, just like, what the heck are you doing? I imagine this is when Henry sees his parents, Ezekiel and Carol, after being absent from them for a very long time. They're probably going to want an explanation as to what the hell happened, considering he was supposed to have met up with them way earlier. So there is that. This is a photo right before. This is when they're first coming through the gates. Henry's all cheery. It's kind of like bringing your girlfriend to your house for the first time. Like, you're all like giddy and stuff. You're like, oh, I can't wait for you to, finally meet meet the parents for the first time. And I swear it'll be less awkward than it was for you the other time. So that's gonna be pretty cool. So those are the majority of the photos that we have. There are a few others that I'll sprinkle throughout this video that I can find them. There's like a photo of Henry hugging Carol and Ezekiel, and Lydia's like in the background. I'm just looking forward to that dynamic, like, how Lydia is introduced to the kingdom. Like, I just like that she's getting to know, like, even last episode when she was talking to Michonne, because Michonne was interrogating her, saw her as the enemy. So it was cool that they could talk with some civility, even though Michonne was casting some shade because she doesn't know her. But I like it. I like that Lydia's kind of getting, like, she's being reacclimated to society. And it's just cool because this is someone who's been abused so much mentally and physically by her fucking witch of a mother. And it's awesome to see her falling in love with Henry. Like love is being brought back into her life, both from this boy and the community that he's a part of. And I just like it. Like, you could see on her face the genuine happiness she has just being reacclimated to things. And I know there's tragedy on the horizon with everything, and I just really hope that she can have some sight. Like, I just hope that she doesn't feel like she has to regress based on the based on the events that happened in episode 15 in the finale. I just hope that Lydia, her progress continues being in society. Now, a lot of that is going to have to do with like what Henry's fate is, because depending if he's alive or dead, her perspective and her anger towards the Whispers and her mother, like it'll all be heightened depending what happens. So we'll have to see where that goes. But so for predictions, again, like I said this in the middle of the vlog. I'm going to say it again now. I'm doing a separate video for predictions for the Pikes, okay? There are multiple victims, and I want to do a separate video where I talk about this in greater detail, and I give you guys a full explanation as to why I think that certain character will be murdered in whatever fashion that they're murdered, okay? I want to go into it, and I want to give you guys kind of the download. Like, I want to give my explanation. Like, if I say I think Ezekiel's going to get his head chopped off, like, well, why do I think that, all right? Like, there's, you know, are there clues? Has there been imagery, motifs, things building up to this point that maybe suggest that? Like, what gives me the right to make that conjecture? And that's the separate vlog I want to make for you guys. And so I'm just doing some preliminary predictions right now, going through the photos, giving you a general overview of some of the things we can expect. I expect this fair to have some fun and games. I mean, there's a freaking photo of Luke and Alden singing that, like, there's the lyrics of a song. I had it up earlier. I was tweeting it out to some fans on Twitter. But, yeah, it looks like there's fun and games. There's going to be trade, commerce. Obviously, we're going to see that freaking movie that the Highwaymen traded their way in. I mean, we better see that movie. I don't know what movie. Like, what do you guys think? That's one prediction. Let's do, like, a happy prediction. What do you think the movie is? The movie that the Highwaymen paid their way in to see. What do you think that movie is? Okay? Just what do you think the movie is? Do you think it's Jurassic Park? Do you think it's like it's got to be like an older film. It's got to be something that's like 70s, 80s that can use film reel. Something from like the 80s, 90s, like the classical era of movie making, you know, when it was on the rise. So what do you think? What are you thinking in terms of that? It's going to be black and white? It's going to be in color? What do you think? And then the music, do you think people are going to be up and dancing? Do you think I don't know, Henry and Lydia, do you think they'll share a dance? You know, will there be any, like, romantic-y moments? There is one brief kind of moment where Alden's hugging Enid, so there's some happiness there, I suppose, from them. So, you know, how many happy scenes? Like, are we going to see some happiness? Because, obviously, we're headed towards tragedy, but let's celebrate the good times for as much as we can. I know it's going to be hard to celebrate because all of us mostly know that there's some shit going down. On Talking Dead, they said that there's going to be a surprise cast member along with Scott Gimple and the guy who plays Siddiq. That's kind of an interesting decision. I would have thought that that's interesting that they're going to have Siddiq on the show, the actor. Like, he must play a prominent role in this episode if they have Siddiq on. Like, why wouldn't you have Samantha Morton, who plays Alpha? I mean, you already had Beta on. I mean, you haven't had Cassidy McClincy, who plays Lydia. Matt Lintz, who plays Henry, he's already technically been on the show. I forget, it was a few episodes back. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just an odd, like, there must be something going on with his character. Like, that's a big clue. But we haven't seen anything of such from Siddiq, other than maybe if he's talking to Rosita about her pregnancy, or maybe he's one of the victims. Like, I don't know what prominent role Siddiq can play that he'd get put on The Talking Dead. Because if you're putting an actor on The Talking Dead, they're usually going there to speak about something significant they did in the episode that just aired. So, what would it be? Like, I'm trying to think. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just a very weird casting decision to have, like, to put on the couch for Talking Dead. So, and also, Talking Dead's an hour later, so I guess that's going to give us an hour to fucking grieve. I mean, no one's going to be able to grieve for a full hour, all right? Based on the Pike reveal, no one's going to be able to grieve for an hour which is kind of frustrating. I mean, you have to watch freaking Into the Badlands, and then it's Talking Dead. Unless they don't reveal the Pike victims, which could be possible. But I am going to end on this photo of Yumiko and Daryl out in an open field. Their facial reactions are a little concerning, and I think this is where they see the victims and just what Alpha did with her pikes. So this has got to be it, and we're going to see it in this episode from the looks of this photo. So, guys, I mean, just get ready. I am going to have to avoid spoilers like the fucking plague. I really don't want to go into this episode knowing who dies, because it's going to ruin it for me. I have become, I mean, I'll talk about this in another vlog another time, but I have become friends with many of the Spoiling Dead members. They're nice people, and I will go into more detail about that later. But they reveal, like, they have like Q&A sessions where they go, like, they spoil the major events of the episode in like a question and answer thing. And they usually release that like Friday, Saturday. So I'm gonna have to like avoid, like, I might not even be able to reply to you guys anything social media this whole coming weekend. I'm just gonna upload the videos that I'm gonna upload and then avoid. I can't, because I can't risk seeing someone's comment. Like, I'm obviously not gonna go on the forums. Like, it's just this, so like, once the deaths are revealed, there's going to be some idiot from the forums who disobeys and then goes on Reddit or something and just spreads the information everywhere. This has happened 1,000 times before. It's one of the gripes I've had with the Spoiling Dead, but I mean, they you know, they can't control anonymity. I get it, but I got to protect myself. So let's just go along with this. I want some happiness from this fair. What's going on with that tipped over trade cart? Maybe the Whisperers are trying to murder some of the residents going to the fair so that they can use them as disguises, perhaps. And it's the highwayman's job to deal with that shit. So if they let the Whisperers into the fair unknowingly, they fucking failed. No movie for you. Okay, I'm just saying that. All right, that was the deal. They're supposed to use their old age Revolutionary War bullshit cowboy outfits to protect us, and if the Whisperers get in and start hacking folk, I don't think you did your job. So, yeah, that's about it from me, guys. This is going to be a momentous episode, and I have still one more vlog to come on either Thursday or Friday where I give my list of predictions for the Pikes. Who is going to die, and I am going to say to you who I think will die. But you have to promise me that you will not comment on any of my videos with any spoilers. If you do, go to the Spoiling Dead or any of their associates. You may not go on my videos and comment that stuff because that's against their rules, and I will tell them because I know all of them now. So, yeah, I'm not I will delete. That's the thing. I'm not even gonna look at your comments. Come Thursday, Friday, I am probably gonna go into hibernation mode and shut off all social media. And yeah, it's probably what I'm gonna do. I don't know what else I can do. I have to shut down any way of getting this information. So, okay, guys, thank you very much for watching. This has been a great vlog, and another one will be coming on Thursday, Friday with the Pike predictions. Thank you guys for watching, and God bless our favorite characters. May they make it out of this in one piece. Thanks, guys. See you later.